Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, October 8th, 2014. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. With an increase in possibility of a global outbreak of the deadly Ebola disease, St. Vincent and the Grenadines has revised its Ebola preparedness and response plan. Recently, the SVG National Committee met and revised the document and is scheduled to carry out a simulation exercise on Friday, October 10th to test the new plan. According to the National Surveillance Committee, funds are also currently being sorted from PAHO to carry out 2 one-day training workshops for local healthcare workers on October 21st and 22nd. In an effort to prevent the deadly Ebola disease from entering St. Vincent and the Grenadines, surveillance has also been expanded to carry out screening on all international passengers entering the country. Meanwhile, reports are that 4 Nigerian students remain under public health observation here after entering the country without the required medical documents, indicating that they are free of the deadly Ebola disease. The Nigerians have been monitored for a 21-day period. It has also been reported that a 5th student who entered the country earlier is no longer under public health observation after being cleared of the disease. The student has already taken up classes at one of the medical schools here. Though his health is not at the moment 100%, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves says he is hoping to have the 2015 estimates delivered by year-end. Calling in on radio on Monday from Cuba, Dr. Gonsalves says preparations for the estimates are progressing and that public servants in the Ministry of Finance are working on the necessary documents. According to PM Gonsalves, it is his intention to deliver the estimates in December and present the actual appropriation bill soon after.
And we'll see whether we can do the budget in the actual appropriation bill in December or do it in January as we did this year. But we have all systems going for all the work to continue.
2 consultants are currently in the country undergoing a water management assessment and review of major water irrigation systems here. The assessment is being conducted by Science Based Initiatives, SBI, managed by Steve Maxime. In an interview with SVG-TV News, soil and water engineer Bernard Nation says the project involves a review of investments made by the government of SVG in water resources for farmers.
That project, I think, or this review came about as a result of the project that was put in not functioning to expectations, essentially, and the need now to go in and revisit some of the lessons learned in implementing this project and in managing and running these projects. It is interesting to note, I would like to put out here that like any new infrastructure, any new service that is put in, there's a learning curve that must be attached to it, and we are fortunate now that we have the ability now with hindsight and with all players, and that which is the Ministry of Agriculture, the farmers, the other stakeholders, VINLEC, Central Water, all of these individuals who have had the experience. Now we can go back and look at this in a holistic way and in a team way to look at this investment and see how we can now best propose a model or best propose a system that can work efficiently and effectively.
Manager of SBI, Steve Maxime, says although the project is being done under the banana accompanying measures, it is not strictly going to be about banana production.
I think the original system, the original irrigation systems were focused on banana production. This is going to be, I gather, much wider in scope. So it's going to involve a lot of other crops as well. And that's why I want to take this opportunity to invite members of the public, all stakeholders, because we are all interested in water, if not potable water, water for irrigation, to take advantage of this opportunity to contact Mr. Nation, to contact the BAM office at the Ministry of Agriculture. If you have any views on this idea at all, because I don't want this to be a project where two fly-by-night consultants came in, in the dark of night, proposed something and disappeared. I want this to be a truly national effort for that everybody who's a stakeholder, once you're Vincentian and you drink water here, you're a stakeholder, I want you to be involved.
Meantime, Maxime says following the review, a national workshop will be held later this month to engage the public on the exercise.
Before we submit our final report, having broadcast to the nation that we are working on this, we want to give the nation an opportunity now to come to that workshop, and we invited guests to come to that workshop to hear what we have found thus far, one, whether you agree or disagree with the findings. I mean, we can't change history, but whether you agree with the recommendations, the suggested recommendations, and that will form part of our final report. So there are two bites of the cherry for the public. One, in terms of contacting us with their views, and secondly, during this consultation, which will probably be around the 29th of October, but the dates have to be finalized, the public will be informed, I'm sure, by the Ministry of Agriculture. But when they do come then, they'll be able to hear what we have found thus far and where our recommendations are leaning. But we will still be open to suggestions from the floor in terms of how we modify the final recommendations.
While a significant step has been taken in allowing businessman Leon Bigabig Samuel to restore his mining activities at Rabaka, Samuel says he is reserving his thank yous to the government until the matter is fully resolved. Samuel told SVG-TV News that while he has no personal grievances or hostility against Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves and his government, he is generally disappointed with the approach taken to ensure his mining license was reinstated earlier.
What I want to say to him, I cannot say thanks to him yet because the issue of reparation is still outstanding. What I could say, it's a step in the right direction for reinstating of my license, but I'm still holding back my thank you until when this whole thing has been fully sorted out.
Meanwhile, Samuel appeared in court earlier today to answer to 4 traffic violations that were brought against him last month. The matter was adjourned until Wednesday the 29th October after it was announced that Samuel's main attorney, Stanley Starkey John QC, was unable to attend today's hearing. Coming up, parents of deceased female police officers seek closure after her death. More stories on the local scene when SVGTV News continues. Don't go away. Welcome back. The parents of the late police constable Kimberly Lewis, who died last week while in service with the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, says the frustration is mounting as they await official word on the real cause of death of their 31-year-old daughter. According to reports, the 31-year-old police constable was unresponsive when she arrived at Pebbles Hospital in the Virgin Islands after falling ill at home. She was later pronounced dead. Police said the cause of her death is still to be determined. SVG-TV News visited the family at their home in Georgetown, and her mother, Bernadette Lewis, and her father, Joseph Mackey, say they can hardly cope with the reality that their first of 4 children is dead. The grieving couple says they spoke with their daughter on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week before getting news of her death on Thursday.
It was so to go and I'm crying, breaking down, and feel like I was out, and I remember I was that frightened, feeling in me, and thing.
How about you?
Well, to be truthful, for the way how me and Kimberly was living, I very feel it for she. And for the time she did in the phone, for the way she used to call me, all 3-4 times a day, The last thing Kimberly said to me, Daddy, I like to get a new picture with you. I want to see a fresh picture with you.
Lewis's sister Asha says she needs some closure in knowing the real cause of her sudden death, adding that Kimberly will be greatly missed.
The last picture that I saw on the internet with her, yeah.
How are you taking this whole thing? What the relationship was like with you and your sister?
It was good. We used to get misunderstandings sometimes. She was our big sister too, and my big sister, and I miss her a lot, and I would like to find out what really happened to my sister.
Lewis joined the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force on August 12, 2006, and joined the Virgin Islands Police Force on August 18, 2012. Cancer patients are not alone, so says Olive Allen, president of the cancer support group SCOTCH. Allen, who is a school teacher and a breast cancer survivor, says from experience having her family support during her struggles was very important to her. Hence the reason she wants persons to know more about SCOTCH and to get involved with the support group. SCOTCH started its operation on the 23rd of August this year. Allen added that there is a need for more support groups for the disease. However, she adds that not a lot of persons living with cancer actually go public because there is a kind of stigma surrounding the disease.
In a very small society where everybody knows everybody, and sometimes people tend to taboo these diseases, and you find persons of stronger personalities. Because, for example, I'm going to use myself now as an example. I normally go to shop at Graves because, as you know, I am a teacher. I would go there and I shop very often for the school, so most of the workers know me. And this lady said to me, "Oh, I saw you on TV, and you're very strong to be there talking about your breast cancer and so on." And if it was me, I don't think I would have gone out there for everybody to know that I have cancer. But you see, people are different. So it still has to do with our level of education. I think we need to educate our people more so that they don't see these things as taboos, but as part of life and realities that we have to confront.
Allen further noted that the male cancer survivors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are mostly the ones suffering from the opinions of society and therefore hesitate to come forward and join a support group. She adds that SCOTCH Cancer Foundation is available to all persons surviving all types of cancer. SCOTCH is a non-profit group made up of cancer survivors and medical professionals to provide social and emotional support and counseling at the outpatient clinics and at the hospital. The Mental Health Center will join the international community to observe World Mental Health Day this Friday, October 10th, 2014, under the theme Living with Schizophrenia. As part of activities to mark the day, the staff of the Mental Health Center will hold a community outreach at their new location in Orange Hill on Friday. The outreach will be held mainly to sensitize the public about issues pertaining to mental health and illness, schizophrenia, psychosocial and community support. Activities to mark Cooperative Month got started here yesterday with an ecumenical service at the Methodist Church Hall. The event started off with a march to the church accompanied by members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force Band. Addressing the audience inside the church, President of the SVG Cooperative League Limited, Kelvin Pompey, says the true essence of the credit union movement is to contribute and care for the sick, the needy, and the marginalized in society. According to Pompey, the credit union movement has always been able to find simple but effective ways of providing assistance in the education of the nation's youth. He implored his colleagues not to forget the corporate philosophy and to always find ways to help citizens.
We thank God for this movement, and we thank God for where we have come in the 50 years. However, I want to challenge us today that this good thing that we have going should not be kept to ourselves. Ours is the responsibility to go into the highways and byways and preach the credit union message, and let those who have not yet joined and benefit to come and be a part of this good and blessed thing. Let us, as we celebrate another year, brothers and sisters, remain humble to our origins and to our philosophy. Let not growth and success bring haughtiness or pride or arrogance, but let us ensure that we continue to be there for the little man as well as the big man. Let us not in any way depart from our core philosophy of democratic principles and identifying those who need a helping hand and to reach out to them.
Meanwhile, Minister of National Mobilization Frederick Stevenson says that the government recognizes the role the credit union movement plays in society, particularly in aiding in poverty reduction.
The cooperative department in the ministry since 2012 has spearheaded a program aimed at poverty reduction, job creation, youth entrepreneurship, and community involvement. This program so far has led to the formation of 6 functional cooperatives, mainly in agricultural production, in the areas of Stubbs, New Prospect, Mariaqua, Langley Park, and Rabuka.